In the year 2347, humanity had finally found its place among the stars. For centuries, Earth had been a quiet corner of the universe, ignored by the countless alien civilizations that thrived in distant galaxies. These beings watched from afar, but never approached. They followed one simple rule: do not disturb the humans. The reason was clear to everyone except humanity itself. Humans were unpredictable, emotional, and quick to act without thinking. But they were also creative, resourceful, and capable of incredible growth. To many alien species, humans were both fascinating and dangerous. Ethan Cole sat at his station aboard the orbital research facility Aurora *, staring at the endless expanse of space outside his window. He was a young astrophysicist with a curious mind and a knack for finding patterns where others saw only chaos. His job was to study the stars, map anomalies, and look for anything unusual. Across from him sat Claire Bennett, his colleague and closest friend. She shared his passion for discovery, though her approach was more cautious. Together, they made a good team. On this particular day, Ethan noticed something strange on his screen. A faint signal, barely detectable, seemed to be coming from the edge of a black hole. It wasn't like anything he'd seen before. Most signals from space were random bursts of energy or echoes of ancient events. This one, however, felt deliberate. It pulsed in a rhythm, almost like a heartbeat. Ethan leaned closer, his eyes narrowing as he tried to make sense of it. "Claire, take a look at this," he said, pointing to his monitor. Claire turned her chair and studied the data, her brow furrowed as she processed what she saw. "That's impossible," she muttered. "Nothing should be able to send a signal from inside a black hole." They worked together, running tests and analyzing the signal. Hours passed, and their excitement grew. The message was garbled, distorted by the immense gravitational forces around the black hole. But one phrase stood out clearly: "Do not interfere." At first, they thought it might be some kind of warning meant for them. Maybe it was a natural phenomenon, a cosmic fluke. But as they dug deeper, they realized the truth. The signal wasn't aimed at humans at all. It was a message sent by one alien civilization to another, a reminder of the universal rule: do not interfere with humanity. Ethan couldn't believe it. All this time, they had thought they were alone in the universe. Now, it seemed that countless alien races had been watching them, hiding in the shadows. They weren't just observing, they were afraid. Afraid of what humans might become if left unchecked. Word of their discovery quickly reached Daniel Hayes, the head of the United Earth Council. He was a stern man with sharp features and an even sharper mind. When Ethan and Claire presented their findings, his reaction was immediate. "This information cannot go public," he said firmly. "If people find out aliens exist, and worse, that they think we're dangerous, it could cause panic." But Ethan wasn't ready to let the matter drop. He trusted his instincts, and something about the signal bothered him. Why would aliens care so much about humanity? What made them so special? Against orders, he decided to share parts of the data with Rachel Moore, a journalist known for uncovering secrets others wanted to keep hidden. Rachel had always been skeptical of authority, and Ethan knew she wouldn't ignore what they had found. Rachel listened intently as Ethan explained everything. Her green eyes sparkled with intrigue. "You're telling me aliens have been spying on us for who knows how long, and now you've got proof?" she asked. Ethan nodded. "I need your help to figure out why." Little did they know, their actions would set off a chain of events that would change everything. Humanity was about to break the one rule that had kept them safe for centuries, and nothing would ever be the same again. Rachel Moore wasted no time. The moment Ethan shared the data with her, she began digging deeper. Her small apartment became a makeshift office, filled with stacks of papers, glowing screens, and empty coffee cups. She was determined to uncover the truth behind the mysterious signal. As a journalist, Rachel had always been drawn to stories that others ignored or tried to bury. This was different, though. This wasn't just a story. It felt like the biggest secret in human history. Her first step was to cross-reference the signal's origin with old government files. Rachel had spent years building contacts within intelligence agencies, and now those connections paid off. Late one night, she received a tip about a classified facility hidden beneath the Nevada desert. The name Project Echo came up repeatedly in encrypted documents. It sounded like science fiction, but Rachel knew better than to dismiss it. If aliens were real, then anything was possible. The next morning, Rachel convinced Ethan and Claire to join her on a trip to Nevada. They rented a car and drove through barren landscapes, the sun blazing overhead. When they arrived at the coordinates Rachel had uncovered, there was nothing to see, just an empty stretch of desert. But as they walked closer, a hidden entrance revealed itself. A gust of wind triggered sensors, and a section of the ground slid open, revealing a staircase leading underground. Inside, the facility was a maze of cold metal corridors and humming machinery. Scientists moved about, oblivious to the intruders sneaking through the shadows. Rachel led the way, her heart pounding with every step. They eventually found themselves in a large chamber dominated by a strange device. It looked like a sphere made of shimmering glass, suspended in midair by invisible forces. Wires and cables connected it to a control panel covered in blinking lights. "What is this thing?" Claire whispered, her voice trembling. Before anyone could answer, a man entered the room. He introduced himself as Dr. Alan Brooks, the lead scientist on Project Echo. At first, he seemed angry to find them there, but curiosity got the better of him. "You're not supposed to be here," he said, shaking his head. "But since you've come this far, maybe you deserve to know the truth." Dr. Brooks explained that Project Echo was an experiment based on alien technology recovered from crashed ships over the decades. The device allowed for instantaneous communication across vast distances, a feat humans had only dreamed of achieving. Its potential applications were limitless. Diplomacy, exploration, even warfare. But there was a catch. Every test run had produced strange side effects, electromagnetic disturbances, glitches in nearby systems, and unexplained phenomena in the sky. Despite these risks, Dr. Brooks planned to activate the device again. He believed humanity couldn't afford to fall behind if other species were advancing. "We can't let fear hold us back," he insisted. "If we don't take this step, someone else will." Ethan argued against it, warning that they didn't fully understand the consequences. Claire agreed, pointing out that the signal they had discovered clearly warned against interference. But Dr. Brooks wouldn't listen. To him, the signal was just another obstacle to overcome. When the activation sequence began, the air grew heavy, charged with energy. The sphere pulsed with light, growing brighter and brighter until it seemed to swallow the room whole. Then, with a deafening crack, the signal shot outward, rippling through space like a stone dropped into a pond. Within minutes, the effects were undeniable. Satellites orbiting Earth went dark. Strange lights danced across the skies worldwide. And high above the atmosphere, massive shapes began to appear, alien ships descending toward the planet. Humanity had broken the rule. Now, the universe would respond. The world changed in an instant. The moment the signal from Project Echo spread across the galaxy, humanity realized it had made a grave mistake. Alien ships appeared in orbit, their massive forms casting shadows over cities and oceans. They weren't attacking, at least not yet, but their presence was enough to send Earth into chaos. News outlets scrambled to cover the event, showing footage of the ships hovering silently above the planet. People panicked, flooding streets and stockpiling supplies. Governments held emergency meetings, but no one knew what to do. Ethan, Claire, and Rachel watched the unfolding events from the Nevada facility. Dr. Brooks stood frozen, his face pale as he stared at the monitors displaying images of the alien fleet. "I didn't think they'd come," he muttered, more to himself than anyone else. His confidence had vanished, replaced by fear and regret. Rachel turned to him sharply. "What did you think would happen?" she demanded. "You ignored every warning. Every piece of evidence telling you this was a bad idea. Now look what you've done." Before anyone could respond, the lights flickered, and a low hum filled the air. A holographic figure materialized in the center of the room, a tall, slender being with shimmering skin that seemed to shift like liquid metal. Its eyes glowed faintly, and its voice resonated in their minds rather than their ears. "We are Kale," it said, its tone calm but firm. "You have broken the rule." Ethan stepped forward hesitantly. "What rule?" he asked, though deep down he already knew the answer. Cal's gaze shifted toward him, and Ethan felt a strange pressure in his mind, as if the alien were scanning his thoughts. "For centuries, we have observed your kind. Your potential is unmatched, but so is your unpredictability. We agreed to leave you undisturbed, allowing you to grow without interference. But now you have disrupted the balance." Claire spoke up, her voice trembling. "We didn't mean to. We didn't even know about the rule until recently. Some people acted without thinking." "Intent does not matter," Kale interrupted. "The consequences are clear. Other factions among the stars see your actions as a threat. They believe you cannot be trusted to wield such power responsibly." Dr. Brooks finally found his voice. "But we can learn. We're capable of change. Give us a chance to prove ourselves." Kale tilted its head, considering the plea. "Perhaps. But trust must be earned. Your species will face judgment. Until then, you will remain under observation." With that, the hologram disappeared, leaving the group in stunned silence. Outside, the alien ships remained motionless, their intentions unclear. Were they waiting for something, or merely watching? Back at the Aurora station, news of the encounter spread quickly. Daniel Hayes, the head of the United Earth Council, called an urgent meeting. He addressed the situation publicly, trying to reassure the population while preparing them for what might come next. "We don't know why these beings are here or what they want," he admitted, "but we must remain united. Humanity has faced challenges before, and we will face this one together." Privately, however, Hayes was terrified. He knew the truth about Project Echo and the role humans had played in breaking the universal rule. If the aliens decided to punish Earth, there would be little anyone could do to stop them. As days passed, the ships showed no signs of hostility. Instead, they sent smaller vessels to various locations around the globe, collecting data and observing human behavior. It was unsettling, like being studied under a microscope. Ethan, Claire, and Rachel tried to make sense of it all, but answers remained elusive. One thing was certain: humanity's place in the universe had changed forever. Whether this new reality would bring peace or destruction depended on choices yet to be made, and whether humans could prove themselves worthy of another chance. The days following the arrival of the alien ships were tense and uncertain. People around the world tried to go about their lives, but it was impossible to ignore the massive vessels hanging silently in the sky. Governments worked tirelessly to prepare for any possible outcome, while scientists like Ethan and Claire studied every detail they could gather about the visitors. Rachel, on the other hand, continued her investigation, determined to uncover more about why humanity had been left alone for so long, and why that isolation had suddenly ended. Kel's presence loomed large over Earth. The alien representative communicated regularly with global leaders, offering cryptic explanations about the rule humans had broken. According to Kale, humanity's interference with advanced technology had triggered alarms across the galaxy. Other alien species, who had always viewed humans as unpredictable, now saw them as a growing threat. Some factions wanted to act immediately, either by destroying Earth or placing strict controls on its development. Kale, however, argued for restraint, insisting that humanity deserved a chance to explain itself before judgment was passed. This explanation came in the form of a summons. A galactic council, composed of representatives from dozens of alien civilizations, would convene to decide Earth's fate. Humanity was invited to send its own representatives to speak on its behalf. The responsibility fell to Ethan, Claire, and Rachel. Though none of them had asked for this role, they knew they couldn't refuse. If they failed, the consequences could be catastrophic. The journey to the council took place aboard one of the alien ships. When the trio stepped inside, they were awestruck by what they saw. The interior was vast and alive, shifting and changing, as if the ship itself were a living organism. Strange beings moved through the corridors, each more alien than the last. Some floated without legs, others glowed faintly, and a few seemed to exist partially in another dimension. It was overwhelming, but Ethan, Claire, and Rachel did their best to stay focused. When they arrived at the council chamber, they found themselves standing before a massive assembly. Dozens of alien representatives sat in a circular formation, their forms ranging from beautiful to terrifying. At the center stood Kale, acting as both mediator and guide. The atmosphere was heavy with anticipation. Ethan was the first to speak. His voice shook at first, but he steadied himself as he addressed the council. "We didn't know about the rule," he began. "If we had, things might have been different. But ignorance isn't an excuse. We're here to learn, to grow, and to prove that we can be trusted." Claire followed, her tone calm and measured. "Humans are flawed, yes, but we're also capable of incredible things. We've built cities, cured diseases, and explored the stars. Give us time, and we'll show you that we're worth preserving." Finally, Rachel stepped forward. Her approach was blunt and unapologetic. "You say we broke the rules, but who decided those rules in the first place? Who gave you the right to judge us? Maybe we made a mistake, but locking us away won't solve anything. You want peace? Then teach us how to earn it." The council members exchanged thoughts silently, their expressions unreadable. For hours, they debated among themselves, leaving Ethan, Claire, and Rachel waiting anxiously. When Kale finally spoke again, his words carried weight. "Your case has been heard," he said, "but the decision will not come easily. Humanity stands at a crossroads. What happens next depends on your actions and your willingness to change." As they returned to Earth, the three couldn't shake the feeling that their fight was far from over. The universe was watching, and the stakes had never been higher. Back on Earth, the wait for the Council's decision felt endless. The alien ships still hovered in orbit, a constant reminder of humanity's precarious position. Life on the planet had changed dramatically. People were divided. Some believed the aliens would bring peace and knowledge, while others saw them as invaders waiting to strike. Protests erupted in cities worldwide, with citizens demanding answers from their leaders. Governments struggled to maintain order, but fear and uncertainty had taken root. Ethan, Claire, and Rachel became symbols of hope for many. Their appearance before the Galactic Council had been broadcast across the globe, and people clung to their words as a sign that humanity might still have a chance. But not everyone agreed with their approach. A faction within the military, led by General Marcus Hale, argued that showing weakness to the aliens was a mistake. "We can't just sit here and wait for them to decide our fate," he declared during a heated meeting with Daniel Hayes. "If we act now, show them we're not afraid, maybe they'll respect us." Hayes tried to reason with him. "Attacking them would be suicide," he said firmly. "They're watching our every move. One wrong step, and we could lose everything." But Hale wasn't convinced. Behind closed doors, he began planning a secret operation, a preemptive strike against one of the smaller alien vessels. He believed that demonstrating human strength would force the Council to take Earth seriously. Despite warnings from Ethan and Claire about the risks, Hale pushed forward, convinced he was doing what was best for humanity. Meanwhile, Rachel worked tirelessly to expose Hale's plans. She knew that provoking the aliens could undo everything they had fought for. Late one night, she managed to intercept classified documents detailing the attack. With no time to waste, she published her findings online, sparking outrage among the public. The backlash forced Hayes to confront Hale directly, but it was too late. The general had already launched his assault. The attack failed miserably. Human weapons bounced harmlessly off the alien ship's impenetrable shields. In response, the vessel emitted a pulse of energy that disabled every electronic device within a 100-mile radius. Power grids went down, communication networks collapsed, and panic spread like wildfire. Kale appeared once again, his glowing eyes filled with disappointment. "This aggression confirms what many feared," he said. "Your species is unwilling to cooperate." The incident only deepened the divisions on Earth. Some praised Hale for standing up to the aliens, while others blamed him for escalating the crisis. Ethan and Claire pleaded for calm, urging people to focus on finding a solution rather than assigning blame. "We're stronger when we work together," Ethan told a crowd gathered outside the United Earth Council building. "If we let fear control us, we've already lost." Rachel, meanwhile, continued writing, using her platform to remind humanity of its potential and its flaws. "We've always been explorers, dreamers, fighters," she wrote in one article. "But now we have to choose. Will we rise to the challenge, or will we destroy ourselves trying?" As days turned into weeks, the Council remained silent. The alien ships stayed in orbit, their presence both a threat and a promise. Humanity had shown its worst side, but there was still hope that it could also reveal its best. The question was whether they'd get the chance to try, or if their mistakes had sealed their fate. The verdict came on a cold, gray morning. Kel's voice echoed across the planet, reaching every corner of Earth through a transmission that no one could ignore. The Galactic Council had reached a decision. Humanity would not be destroyed, but neither would it be granted full freedom. Instead, strict conditions were imposed. Certain advanced technologies would be banned, and Earth's expansion into space would be closely monitored. Any further violations of the universal rule would result in immediate intervention. For some, the ruling felt like a victory. Humanity had been given another chance, a rare opportunity to prove itself. For others, it was a bitter compromise, a loss of autonomy disguised as mercy. Ethan, Claire, and Rachel listened to the announcement together. Their emotions mixed. They had hoped for unconditional trust, but knew the Council's decision could have been far worse. "We've got work to do," Ethan said finally, breaking the silence. "This isn't just about surviving. It's about showing them we can live up to their expectations." Claire nodded, though doubt lingered in her eyes. "It won't be easy. People are scared and angry. Convincing them to follow these rules won't happen overnight." Rachel, ever the realist, crossed her arms. "And what about those who don't want to follow the rules? You think everyone's just going to roll over and play nice?" Ethan sighed. "No, I don't. But maybe this is exactly what we need. A wake-up call. If we can't learn to control ourselves, we don't deserve to explore the stars." The ruling sparked heated debates worldwide. Governments scrambled to implement the Council's demands, shutting down research facilities working on forbidden technologies. Scientists protested, arguing that limiting progress would stifle innovation. Meanwhile, extremist groups emerged, vowing to resist alien oversight at any cost. General Marcus Hale, disgraced after his failed attack, became a figurehead for these movements, rallying supporters with fiery speeches about human pride and independence. Amid the chaos, Ethan and Claire found themselves tasked with ensuring compliance. Their job was to monitor Earth's adherence to the Council's conditions, acting as intermediaries between humanity and the alien observers. It was a heavy burden, but they accepted it willingly, knowing how much was at stake. Rachel joined them in her own way, using her writing to bridge the gap between fear and understanding. Her articles highlighted stories of cooperation and resilience, offering glimpses of hope in dark times. Kale remained a constant presence, overseeing the transition. He visited Earth periodically, meeting with leaders and scientists to ensure the new rules were being followed. Though his demeanor was calm, there was an underlying firmness to his actions. "You have been given a gift," he told Ethan during one such meeting. "Do not waste it." Despite the challenges, small signs of progress began to emerge. Communities worked together to rebuild after the power outages caused by Hale's attack. Schools introduced programs teaching children about coexistence and responsibility. Even skeptics started to see the value in collaboration, realizing that survival depended on unity. But beyond the solar system, dissent brewed among the stars. Not all alien species agreed with the Council's leniency. Some factions whispered of rebellion, determined to take matters into their own hands. To them, humanity was a ticking time bomb, and bombs, they believed, should be diffused before they exploded. As Earth adjusted to its new reality, the universe held its breath, watching and waiting. Humanity had been given a second chance, but the question remained, would they rise to the occasion or repeat the mistakes of their past? Years passed, and Earth slowly adapted to its new role under alien oversight. The initial chaos had settled into a fragile routine. Governments worked closely with Kale and his kind to enforce the Council's rules, while scientists redirected their focus towards sustainable advancements rather than forbidden technologies. Ethan and Claire became key figures in this effort, traveling the world to educate others about the importance of balance and restraint. Their work was challenging, but they found meaning in knowing they were helping shape humanity's future. Rachel continued writing, her articles now read by millions across the globe. She had shifted from exposing secrets to telling stories. Stories of hope, resilience, and unity. Her words reminded people that despite the restrictions, humanity still had the power to create, to dream, and to grow. "We've been given a chance to rewrite our story," she wrote in one piece. "Let's make it one worth telling." But not everyone embraced the changes. Extremist groups, emboldened by General Hale's rhetoric before his arrest, operated in secret, plotting ways to resist alien control. They saw the Council's conditions as chains meant to hold humanity back, and they vowed to break free no matter the cost. Small acts of sabotage began to surface: attacks on monitoring stations, attempts to revive banned technologies, and even rumors of plans to build weapons capable of challenging the alien ships. Kale watched these developments closely, his patience wearing thin. He met with Ethan and Claire regularly, warning them of the dangers posed by such resistance. "Your species is at a crossroads," he said during one meeting. "You can choose cooperation, or you can choose conflict. But know this, if you choose conflict, you will not win." Despite the tension, there were moments of beauty. Humanity's creativity flourished in unexpected ways. Artists painted murals depicting harmony between humans and aliens. Musicians composed symphonies inspired by the vastness of space. Even children played games imagining life among the stars, dreaming of a day when Earth might once again reach for the cosmos without fear. Far beyond the solar system, however, trouble brewed. Dissent among alien factions grew louder, fueled by those who believed the Council had made a grave mistake in sparing Earth. A coalition of species, calling themselves the Vanguard, began amassing forces near the edges of human territory. They argued that humanity's reckless nature could never be tamed, and that waiting for another violation was too great a risk. Back on Earth, Ethan noticed strange patterns in satellite data. Fleets of alien ships, unaligned with the Council, were moving closer to the solar system. He shared his findings with Claire and Rachel, who immediately understood the implications. "They're coming for us," Rachel said grimly. "Not Kel's people, the others." The news spread quickly, reigniting old fears. Some called for surrender, believing resistance would only hasten destruction. Others prepared to fight, unwilling to accept defeat without a struggle. Ethan and Claire stood firm, advocating for diplomacy. "If we show them we've changed, maybe they'll stand down," Ethan urged. "But if we lash out, we'll prove them right." In the end, humanity's fate rested on a razor's edge. The Vanguard arrived, their ships dark and menacing compared to the Council's glowing vessels. For days, they loomed in orbit, silent and unreadable. Then, unexpectedly, Kale intervened. With the Council's backing, he confronted the Vanguard, his voice resonating through space. "This planet is under our protection," he declared. "Leave now, or face the consequences." The standoff lasted hours, the tension unbearable. Finally, The vanguard relented, retreating into the depths of space. It was a victory, but a temporary one. The message was clear. Humanity's survival depended on proving itself worthy, not just to the Council, but to the entire universe. As life returned to normal, Ethan, Claire, and Rachel looked to the stars with cautious optimism. They knew the road ahead would be difficult, filled with challenges yet unseen. But they also knew something else. Humanity had been given a rare gift, a chance to grow, to learn, and to earn its place among the stars. Whether they succeeded or failed was up to them.